Hey everybody, Raziel here, coming back at you with another Smite God build for the Xbox One, or any platform for that matter. Finally. I know it's been a long time, and it's mostly, just waiting for Season 4 to come out, get a chance to play with the items in the Season 4, and then, getting a little bit sick here and there. So if I do cough in this video, I apologize. I'll try to stifle it as much as I can, but that's just, I wanted to get this out, so let's go. This week, finally again, we are bringing to the table Kumbhakarna, the Sleeping Giant, for patch 4.2. I know I missed 4.1, but like I said, a lot of item changes, so I needed to wait until 4.2, essentially. He fills the role of guardian for the Hindu pantheon and is one of the most disruptive gods in the game, and will shut you and your plans down before you can even start to panic about it. This video is intended for those just starting out playing Kumbhakarna, those who need a refresher with the god, or those who had this combo in their minds or plans with your team to gank a lane or whatever, and then boom! Kumbha comes out of nowhere, puts you to sleep, roots you in place, and sends your ass into the stratosphere. So much for what the hell you had in mind, alright? We will start out with his abilities, or kit as I call them, then go over the relics and the item build, and finish off with ability combos and fighting scenarios. If you liked the video, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future Smite content. Also, feel free to leave a comment below requesting any future gods or just to say hello for the hell of it. Also, I've set up a clan on Xbox One called Victis. It is open for anyone to join if they like. Right now, we're kind of doing ranked joust and maybe some random fantasy point grinding. Now, let's get into those abilities. Before we get started, I have to go over a little housekeeping that I have for every video. I play with the Savage button layout for the Xbox One, which may look different from what you're playing with. Also, the PS4 has different buttons, and the PC and Mac have a different UI altogether. So as such, from this point forward, I'll be calling his abilities out as 1, 2, 3, and 4, with the 1 ability all the way over to the left, and the 4 or ultimate being all the way to the right. Hopefully this will clear up any possible confusion later on in the video. But if you've been here before, you should know this by now. Let's get into those abilities, shall we? We're going to go over his passive first, which is called Sleeping. Kumbhakarna does not die when he reaches 0 health. Instead, he falls asleep. He will awaken after 8 seconds at 25% health and mana unless hit with 6 basic attacks. 1 for every 5 levels while sleeping, or +1 for every 5 levels for sleeping. This passive has a 240-second cooldown. So, what that means, while this passive is up, and as you can see down there to the left, I believe, that will pop up with blue lights when the passive is active. And what that means is when he gets essentially killed, he'll fall asleep, and the enemy has to do 6 plus another 4 more so basic attacks to actually finish killing him. And what that means is magical abilities will not kill him. Procs from oboe will not count towards these stacks, I believe. You actually have to physically attack him. And I've noticed when this passive is up and you get executed by Ao Kuang, it does not. It sends you right into the passive. Like if you're in the execution threshold against an Ao Kuang and you get executed, you don't get gobbled up. You just fall back down on your ass sleeping, and you have the chance to come back up. Now, any competent player will see Kumbhakarna in his passive and try to bitch slap him as much as he can. But sometimes people forget, and it goes good with you. So his 1 is called Throwback. It's a dash ability. He sleepily runs forward. If he hits an enemy, he stops and deals damage. If the enemy is a minion, he throws that minion, dealing increased damage to each enemy they hit. This is his wave clear, and this is a way for him to poke, essentially, while he's in lane. And he hits the first minion in the wave and sends him back. You can kind of aim it towards enemy gods, and it's kind of annoying. Sometimes you just walk right into it, and it's great to do the poke with it. You know, it does 350 damage at max ranks plus an additional 50 percent of your physical or magical power. Sorry, it's a magical god, and a 60% for minion damage, flying minion damage. So it's a decent amount of damage. His 2 is called Groggy Strike. He smashes down his staff there, whatever the hell it is, damaging all enemies in front of him and rooting them in place. This is one of his 2, his 3, and his ultimate essentially are very disruptive, very annoying to go against at times, and very satisfying if you can get the combo off with him. And we'll go over that towards the end of the video. So his 2 here, he lifts his staff or mace or club, whatever the hell you want to call it, above his head. He makes a loud noise and he smashes it down. If you're in that range, in that line, you get rooted in place. And the root duration is for 2 seconds. It does 270 damage at max rank, plus another 50% of your magical power. Not too bad, again, you know, but it's more so of initiation and or peel ability for you or your teammates. We're going to go over now to his 3, which is called the Mighty Yawn. Now this ability is probably the most disruptive in the sense that he lets out a Mighty Yawn that mesmerizes all enemies within a range. So it's an AoE kind of effect. If awakened early, enemies have their attack speed and movement speed slowed, and he may also use this while he's asleep in his passive. So that means not only can he do this when he's running around, disrupting and initiating and just pooping on people's plans. I don't know if that's a good alliteration or whatever, but if you put him in his passive and he has this ability up and you're trying to basic attack him, he can put you to sleep while it's happening. So the mez duration at max rank is 3 seconds. It also slows for 2 seconds after if you wake or if the enemy is woken up. And it's 40% all ranks, and the attack speed debuff goes from 30 to 50%. It's annoying, pretty much is what it is. Going over to his ultimate here, his 4, it's called Epic Uppercut, and it pretty much friggin' is. He moves forward, so kind of dashes forward, not just moves forward. Stops at the first enemy god he encounters and delivers a massive melee attack that uppercuts the enemy directly into the air. When the enemy lands, it deals an area damage and causes knock-up to nearby enemies. So it's a 1-2 kind of uppercut combo punch. And what I mean by that is he dashes forward and uppercuts him in the air. It does 175 damage at max rank, plus 15% of his magical power. But where the big damage comes is where he's coming down. So you're knocked up like into the stratosphere, like I said earlier, and you're sitting up there. You can see the entire map pretty much, and you know you're going to be coming right back down because it's gravity and everything. So you do that, you land, and it does 650 damage, plus an additional 40% of his magical power. So take away the scaling from the 1-2 punch from this uppercut. It's, you know, 825 damage without the scaling at max rank. That's, you know, half of a squishy mage per se, you know. So if you see a mage is half health and you have this, you can kill him. The knockup time takes 2.2 seconds. So I mean, that's, like I said, that's a little bit of time to sit there, take in the sights, drink a margarita, and then come back down. Again, it's another disruptive ability that he has. His ability to get in your face and mess up your what you think you can do is very relevant. So that's his abilities in a nutshell. I went through them kind of quick, but I mean, they're kind of self-explanatory. If you've gone against the Kumba before, you've seen them. If you played Kumba, you remember them. And if you're new, we'll go over his combos at the end of the video. So let's get into that. The relics in his item build next. Alright, so now we're going to be going into his relics and his item build and Season 4. let me just preface or preface, however the hell you want to pronounce it, this section with the fact that Season 4 saw a lot of changes in the items and the relics and the consumables as well. So things are bound to be a little bit up in the air still early on. They're bound to change. They could change next week, next month, next, split. Who knows? But I'm going to say everything here is early on in Season 4. If you find something in this build or this section of the video that is out of date, or where you feel yourself is probably a better item build, leave a comment below and we'll talk about it and we'll see about it. And I'll say, yeah, I think you're right, or what the hell are you smoking? That was from Season 2, you big old douche. Maybe I wouldn't say that, but that's the gist of it. So here we go. And before I go in, these relics, item builds, consumables, etc. are situational. It depends on your team's comp and the enemy team's comp. So, things may change depending on what you're running and what they're running. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And I always say that, and people may not take it to heart because this is not gospel. Take it with a grain of salt, try it out, see if it works for you. It may or may not, and it may not for that particular match, that ranked match, or whatever else you're going in. Additionally, these builds are primarily for conquest, but they should work for any team, not team comp, any game mode except maybe assault, because you don't have the ability to go back to the fountain, so things will be different there. Anyway, that's enough of me spouting nonsense. Let's get into the relics to start out with. So, being he's a guardian, he's most likely going to start, well, oh, I say that Season 4 is so much different. The guardian can either start in dual lane, can start in mid lane, can start somewhere in the jungle. If you're freaking ballsy, you can start in solo lane with a solo. Who knows? But more than likely, you're going to be in a lane with somebody, whatever lane it ends up being. So you can choose to go with med, go with a Heavenly Wings or Sprint, depending on what season you started with, Shell, or you could just straight up go with the Purification Beads. Again, situational. If you got, you end up in the dual lane, you're going up against an Ares and an Artemis, you may want Purification Beads. More times than not, you probably just want to go Meditation Cloak to help sustain you. Now, if you look over here on the right, if you're here from Season 3, now you're into Season 4, you're going to notice there's two freaking things over there. Well, that's because the relics now have a free version, or starter version, and then an upgradable version. Now, for Meditation Cloak, for example, it restores 15% of your health and 35% of your mana. And allied gods are also restored within 35 units. The upgraded version gives them MP5 and HP5 for 30 seconds after the initial med, and the cooldown is the same. So pretty much it just gives that little bit extra sustain, we'll say, after the fact. We'll go with Shell. It gives you protections, and then it increases the protections by 15% and reduces damage taken by 10. So every relic's going to have cooldown reduction or a little bit of a bonus if you spend that 500 gold. But early game, especially starter, you're not going to want to spend that 500, most likely because, well, you don't have much gold to start with, It's early game. You need the gold to get items to start in the laning phase, etc. So, for shits and giggles, we're just going to go with meditation. You could go with the heavenly, but we're going to go meditation to help sustain in the battle. Now, your second relic here, that's recommended. Where's the relics themselves? Here we go. There's a few extra ones. They kind of reverted back to Season 2 names. They added a couple, like they split Curse into two different types, and there's Sunder here, which is pretty popular because it just does so much damage early game. Phantom stayed around, so excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Your second item, depending on how things are going, you could go with, if they have healers, you could go with not that one. Is it the Ankh? Cursed Ankh, which will reduce the healing. It's the healing reduction part of Curse from Season 3. Or you can get the Slow, which is the horrific emblem. This is the slowing portion of Curse from Season 3. But you might want to go Blink. Even Sunder probably wouldn't be too bad. Just because, depending if you're going damage or not. I mean, this is, again, situational. These relics do so many different things in so many different situations. Safe-wise, Purification Beads or Sanctuary probably wouldn't hurt. If you're going aggressive, go Blink or Sunder. If you want to be a little bit more team compy, go with the Shell or one of these Cursed Ankhs or Horrific Emblems, etc. Even the Heavenly. So, you know what? I'm going to say Sunder. If you want to go damage, and I mean, you've got a possibility of rooting someone in place, hitting with a Sunder, ulting them after that. I mean, the Sunder does additional damage. So it strips them down, and you just do more damage. Early game, Sunder might be more prevalent than Meditation early game. It depends on your playstyle and how aggressive you want to be. That's enough on Relics, because you guys really need to try that out. I still need to try it out. But let's get into it, alright? So, for Conquest, you're going to go, you're going to go still Watcher's Gift. I mean, it gives you health, protections, MP5, and it also gives you a bonus gold, and restores some health and mana on minion waves and jungle camps. So this will help you. You're not going to be last hitting most of them, so this will help you get that gold in order to buy those items as you're laning in mid game and gearing up into late game. Still a staple to this day. Where's the damn boots? So you want to go after that Shoes of Focus, because you want that cooldown reduction. The cooldown reduction is great because it give you an opportunity to do more disruptive abilities. Keep them on their toes. So is he gonna root me? Is he gonna mez me? Is he gonna knock me up into the air? Who knows? What the hell's his cooldown on that? Is it still up? Is it still down? Who knows? Cooldown's always great. I mean, more times than not, even if you go kind of a damage dealing build instead of a tanky build, you still kind of want that cooldown reduction because it allows you to do those hits a little bit harder. So Shoes of Focus. Yeah, that's what you want. I don't know what the hell I'm saying right now. All right, so after that, we're gonna probably go into a Sovereignty because these kind of took a dip in Season 3, and now they're kind of coming back. The aura items. It gives you health, it gives you protections, and it gives you additional protections and HP 5 for your allies. So I mean, and right now the meta has been swaying towards more hunters in the mid lane. Even kind of hunters in the solo. I mean, I'm sure within the next patch or two, things are going to change. And maybe hunters won't be used as much, but there's more physical gods in lanes than magical lately. So Sovereignty to start out is pretty good. If you're going against a team that has more magical, then you want to go into Heart Ward, which is pretty much the magical version of Sovereignty, which gives you magical protections, some health, and MP5 instead of HP 5. These will be pretty much your core items. You could maybe go with a Breastplate of Valor instead of Sovereignty. Excuse me, if you wanted to. Just to get those extra cooldowns and give you a little bit more physical protections. But these will be your core items, and then I think after this will be the things you kind of switch up a little bit, whether you're going tanky or you're going damage dealing. Now, the next item here we're gonna go into is, if I can find the damn thing, right here, Gauntlet of Thieves. Thebes, not thieves. Excuse me, I gotta take a drink. Sorry about that. What this gives is gives you health, 400 health, gives you some more HP 5, which is great. and increases magical and physical protection of allies by 20. So it's just another sovereignty. It's like a sovereignty and Heart Ward Amulet combined. At least in the protection sense. So this is just gonna, in a team fight scenario, late game, even mid game, is gonna tank the hell up out of your team. Your squishies are gonna take a little bit more hits now with this build. After this, you probably can go into Winged Blade, which is gonna give you more health. It's gonna give you 20% crowd control reduction. So whatever people hit you with, say Artemis throws a trap down, it's gonna root you 20% less. Scylla hits you with the root, 20% less. You bitch. Gives you attack speed. You know, you're not a super, in-hand god, but the 10% movement speed is great. And the passive, when you hit by a slow, you're immune to slows, and your movement speed is increased by another 20% for 4 seconds. It can only happen 30 seconds. That's a pretty low refresh rate, in my opinion. I mean, you get into a team fight, you peel a little bit, you help your teammates get out, and by the time you guys regroup and maybe even get into the next team fight, that passive is back up. And so for 4 seconds, you're immune to slows, and you're faster than you were before. Not a bad passive. You'll see a lot of tanky or gods use this. Excuse me. Use this item. I hope this coughing's not annoying the hell out of you guys yet. All right, so then at this point, if you haven't already sold it, you're gonna sell that, and you can go. Let's see, what's the passive on this now? What's my CCR? 20. Okay, you can go Ethereal Staff, which will give you magical power, health, and more CC reduction, and your abilities will deal magical damage equal to 5% of their max health. So this is almost, this is not huge, but it's pretty good. It just gives you that 5% extra damage. It's not like Soul Reaver, but it can happen every 10 seconds. So you can maybe get 15% of their health instead of the 10% every 40 seconds. So between these two, I would probably go Ethereal Staff, or you could actually go Void Stone for that extra magic protection, and it also reduces their protections, the enemy's protections within 55 units. So I would say either Void Stone or Ethereal Staff. I'll go Void Stone. This is the tankier kind of build. Now, if you're going to go for the more damaging build, I'd probably put in Breastplate of Valor for the cooldown. I'd replace this with a Soul Reaver, we'll say. And maybe even put in this item as well to give you a little bit more cooldown reduction. This might overcap you, I'm not sure, but it will help you peel with the stun in the passive if you go below 30% health. But if you're going tanky, which you probably should for most of the times, this is the item build you want to run, and it will keep you guys alive. Now, before I go, there's these consumables here. We got these chalices, which gives you 3 mana and 3 health, depending on what you are, every time you back. But they're expensive. So if you think you're going to be backing a lot and buying these items, I'd say buy a chalice. At least the mana chalice or the health chalice. And then there's this Chalice of the Oracle, which gives you 2 regular wards every time you back. It's not bad. I usually start, maybe not the first time back, maybe not right away. If I have a little extra scratch, I'll buy this. And then you have these rituals, which you can buy. These are late game items here. One's like a teleport to a friendly. One is pretty much a new wall alt, revealing everyone on the battlefield. The flickering one is a combat blink, and then the frenzy, which used to be a relic, is now a ritual. You can pick those up, and you got the 3K pots and everything else. So, yep, that's it. That section went kind of long, but what the hell. Let's get into the next one here, which is combos, fighting scenarios, and what order to rank up his bitch ass. Okay, so we're gonna get into his combos now and whatnot. So This is him just doing the basic attacks. You can see it's fairly fast. Not the fastest. I don't have any attack speed, I don't think. Let me stay away from that. I don't want to reset it. Alright, so let's see if I can get this. I just want to show you. You know what? We'll wait for the wave to come. So what's going to happen here is the wave is going to respawn. And this is the line that he's going to dash through. Now, in the sense with the minions, he'll hit the first minion and send them flying back. And you can aim it. So say the first minion was this guy here. And I wanted it. Well, jeez, okay. He just disappeared. Aim it that way, because that's where the enemy god is. You can. If you want to aim it right down the line and hit every minion, try to get the clear, and hit the guy who stupidly sits in the wave, you can do it. And I'm going to show you how far this goes. That one, you know, that went from here all the way back to the ring there by the tents. Now that's some pretty good distance. And look, the wave clear there was pretty good too. I mean, I'm in level 20, but early game that will help out, poke the enemy team, and get that wave clear going. Now his 2 also is kind of a line here, and it has a much wider stance than his 1. Oh, let me show you. For his 1, you know, it just hits right there. Hits the first god, you know. It doesn't send the god flying. Now his 2, you can see he winds up here, and then the red, you know, the little thing disappears. So you gotta have to kind of understand it's in a straight line, but it roots him in place. You would have seen the root symbol down here underneath his legs. Yeah, rooted right there. Okay. So that, you know, it does some damage. I mean, he's not a super damage dealing god unless you build him with a large amount of magical power and a soul reaver. His 3 here, I can only hit this one. Puts him to sleep. They're snoozing, and the little timer happened to appear below his mana bar. And I'm gonna save his ult for excuse me, for the combo here. So his 1 is pretty much just going to be a poke scenario, wave clear early game. You can also use it to chase down an enemy god trying to get away, because you know he goes pretty far. Now I was kind of close to the Odin before, so to initiate, if you want to use this as initiate, I'll go through the entire kit here. There's 1 and everything else. So we are gonna go. You can go initiate with his 1, mez with his 3, ult with his 4, and then hit them with your 2, and then hopefully do some more damage after that. Or you can initiate with his 1, mez, root, ult. So 1, 3, 2, 4, or you can just straight up go to 4. I mean, pretty much any scenario between his 2, 3, and 4 would kind of work. You could go full, you know, hit him with your ultimate, mez them when they come down, and then root them in place, etc., etc. For this though, we're gonna go 1, 3, 2, 4. That's what we're gonna do for this combo. Try out any combo you want. Like I said, his ability to disrupt with his 2, his 3, and his 4 is ridiculous, and it will piss people off, and it will do some damage. Depending on your build, and it's, you know, it's pretty good. So here we go. We're gonna initiate here with the 1. That's the 2. 1. All right, put him to sleep. Root him in place, and then ult his ass. Boom, he's gone. And then that area, that area that was slightly bigger than this circle here. If there's an enemy god within that, when he comes down, they'll get knocked up and receive damage themselves. So that was it, you know, mez, root. Oh, they're trying to run away and boot him down like that. And you can also dash a little bit with his ultimate. That's pretty much his combos, you know. You can go, you could root. Let me wait for my stuff to cool down here. You could, you know, surprise with the root, you know, hit him a couple times. Oh, they're getting away, mez, chase him down. Get him again, get him again. You know. So that's it. Disrupt. Now these abilities also help your friendlies get away. Also helps them peel, as they say, get away from the team fights. You know, your hunter is low on damage. Okay, you know, mez him. Okay, gives them the ability to. Oh, they're still chasing. Okay, root them down, knock them over here, boop, get the hell out, and then run away with your hunter. Hopefully met him or something else. Just to show you the Sunder. The Sunder has a pretty good distance. I mean, look at that. That is the distance for the Sunder. Now, if you get up here and you root them, knock them out, root them. Oops, I meant the Sunder. I'll do that again here in a second. So the point is, you mez them, you root them, you Sunder them, and then you attack them. All right, so I'm gonna mez, I'm gonna root, then we're gonna hit him with that, and then boom, there, damage galore, and then the Sunder's gone. So that's that. That's the combos. Now, in order in which to rank his abilities, I would go well, starting the game, I would go with his 1 or his 2, depending on what you want. Then maybe the 2. I'd probably go 1, then 2, and then 3, and then 3 again. Try to rank up his 3 to get that mez time longer. Whenever the alt comes up, level that, and then depending on what you want, you know, the 1 or the 2 is up to you. If you feel like you're gonna be doing a lot more poking with your 1, level up that after the 3. If you feel like you're gonna be doing a lot more of the rooting in place and everything, I would go with the 2. That's your call. Hope this has been informative. Hopefully didn't run over too long. I don't know. It's the first one of season 4, so it is what it is. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more Smite guides. And, you know, leave a comment below for any gods that you wish to see. I have a request for one, the next warrior, which will be like a month away, because I'm staying in the same order as Season 3. Anyway, thanks for swinging by, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.